Hi, this is Mr. Pablo, and today I will teach you how to carry on with your crash test project. Now, as you can see over here, I've already saved it in the shared folder or the Y drive. So if you just go to the shared folder, high school, then mathematics, then Mr. Pablo, then go inside the crash test folder, you should see something like this. And as usual, like my first video, you should just double click on the start and the software should come out. Just give it some time. A lot of you are doing this at the same time, so be very patient and it should come out. Right, here is now the crash test. I'm going to skip down the intro or the introduction and going on the easy modes. What you should have done now is that you should have played with this very much. You should be well versed on this. You should know how to click on or select different crash points, different cars, different speeds. Alright, you should have done this and tested it. Okay, so what's the next step after that? You must create a hypothesis. Alright, so if you click on that, and there we go. What is a hypothesis? This is something that you would like to test. This is a question. For example, is a small car safer than a family car in a sports car when they crash into a wall? Okay, so that's one question, and you would like to experiment on that one. Now, how would you experiment, and how would you get results? So, if you click on go to test laboratory, you should see 14 different hypotheses. This is the first hypothesis: a family car is safer than a small car in a sports car. That's hypothesis 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on until 14. So choose one hypothesis and try to prove or try to experiment on it and identify the answer to that hypothesis. So in here, which I'm going to do, a family car is safer than a small car in a sports car. So I'm going to choose that one, okay, and I'm going to try an experiment on that one. So I click on some test packages. Okay, so I find a test package. Now here are some test packages. Okay, these are all for the small car, these are all for the family car, and these are all for the sports car. So I'm going to choose that one, I'm going to choose that one, and I'm going to choose this one. So why did I choose all these three? The first reason is that these packages show all the three cars. I want to know what happens to all three cars: the family car, the small car, and the sports car. And also, to make the test fair, I want them to crash on the same barrier. Okay, and also I'd like them to have the same speed, just so that the test is fair. Now, you should know how to give a fair test based on your science lessons, and hence you should know how to do that here. So prove this hypothesis. There we go. So I'm gonna be looking at different crash tests. This is the first one, and here we go. As you can see, there we go, my dummy, or the driver of this car, flew away. So that doesn't look like a good sign. That doesn't look like it's a safe car to drive. So I can view the test results. I can skip this video now. You should have seen a lot of those videos earlier. And looking at the percentage, there we go. The overall dummy damage is 70%. Damage to the car is also 70%, and the damage to the battery is just 50%. Well, because my hypothesis is about knowing which is safer to drive, I should just be looking at the dummy damage and the car damage, really. So damage to the barrier doesn't really help me prove the hypothesis, because the barrier is not related to the safeness or the safety of the person driving. So I'm just looking at these two right here. Now I know those data. I can write it down on the test plan sheet that I will give you in the lesson. Okay, and then now I carry on with my next crash test and see what happens here when a dummy is driving a family car. So there we go, there's the crash. Now you might have noticed that the dummy didn't really fly away after that crash. It was able to stay inside the car. So that looks like, to me, that's a safe car compared to the first car. So I can skip that video and I can look at the results for further data, from further concrete data, and I can see here that the damage to the dummy is just 35% overall and the car is only 52%. So from what I can see now, okay, it is clear to me that it is safer to drive a family car than a small car. But is it also true if I drive a sports car? Okay, so I click on the next crash test, and here we go. Here's a sports car, and I think everybody can predict this now. Yes, the dummy flew away simply because there's nothing in there to protect the dummy from flying away after a crash. So I'm gonna view the test results here. Skip that video. And I can see here that, there we go, 78% dummy damage, 87% damage to the car. Okay, so from the three packages, I can conclude now that a family car is safer to drive than a small car and a sports car. So I click on here. After that, how did I do? This will tell you the packages that you've chosen, and this will give you an example package that you might want to try. Most of the time this will give you the correct packages that you should have chosen. In my case, mine is correct. However, if I want to know if it's still true, on decide on crash instead. Okay, so I can click on test example packages. If I click that, it will show again some videos of the crash test of these three cars. Okay, I can do that later on, but I'm not going to do that now. It's your job to do that on your own time. Okay, then I'm going to click on presentation suite. I choose a chart. Which chart will best show my data? Is a pie chart, based on my hypotheses and based on the results I have, is a pie chart the appropriate one to use? Is a bar chart the appropriate one to use? Or is a scatter graph appropriate one to use? Make sure that you read what it says here on the right hand side, so that it can help you understand which chart you should use to represent the data that you have gathered. So once you have chosen, okay, you must click on print graph and it should print for you properly. Then you must create a presentation. Remember that when making a presentation, you must have your test plan worksheet, the results worksheet, the results of the crash test, all the data should be there, and the graphs worksheet. Okay, now this video should have given you enough information on how to carry on with your crash test project. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me during the lesson, and you may also try to replay this video so that you can go back and see if you just might have missed something that I said over somewhere in this video, and replay it again so that you can actually understand the work on your own. If there's absolutely anything else that I can help you with, just make sure that you come to me. Okay, that's the end of the video. Hope that helps you make your crash test project, and I will see you soon.